I will still be up at like 1:30. Like, sleep is boring. I don't want to go to sleep.
You're also 21, Hannah. Remember that. You're also 21 in college.
If I do go to bed late, I make sure to get 8 to 9 hours.
I got maybe 4 hours a night when I was in university.
That makes me feel better.
You're a mile ahead of where I was at 21. Welcome to the Clear Skin Chronicles, the podcast that takes you on a journey to uncover the secrets of achieving glowing, acne-free skin. We believe that knowledge is power, and by understanding the root causes of acne, we can create a solid foundation for long-lasting clear skin. I'm Katie Stewart, registered holistic nutritionist and founder of the Clear Skin Solution, where we help women just like you get to the root cause of their acne.
And I'm Chris Brown, registered holistic nutritionist and program director inside the Clear Skin Solution. Through functional testing, we pinpoint where the body system imbalances lie, so we can dive deep into the acne clearing journey.
We work virtually with clients to clear up their skin from the inside out and have helped thousands of women worldwide regain their confidence. So Chris and I were chatting recently about how much we just love doing this series of podcasts, the Real Skin, Real Stories. It's been such a pleasure to get to connect with our clients on kind of like a different way, chatting in the podcast and really just digging into their journey as a person, right? Because like I've said in many of these episodes is, well, everyone has a similar journey. You hear the same things pop up mindset wise, the things that they're trying. They also have such drastically different journeys. And that's what I think makes everybody so unique and so interesting. And, as many of you know, I used to work in television. And the reason that I loved working in television and being a journalist is because I loved getting to know people. If you ever meet me in person, I will ask you 7,000 questions because I just want to know about you. I think people are so cool. So that's why I'm thrilled to have our next guest, Hannah, on. She is one of our clients as of recording in the Clear Skin Solution. So Hannah, thank you so much for joining, and be prepared for my 1,001 questions.
Of course. I'm excited. I'm ready for it.
So Hannah, I would love for you to just share with everybody, because I think these chats have been so empowering because everyone listening can think, oh my gosh, me too, Hannah, me too. So could you kind of bring us back to the start of your, journey with acne, with, having symptoms pop up? What was that like for you, and how was that impacting your day today?
Yeah, so I would say my severe acne started as early as 12. Like I got my son at 12, and I remember being in my grandma's old bathroom at as soon as 10 years old, and I saw on my airbrush baby smooth skin, I saw one pimple. I had to ask my mom what is this? And she was like, well, you're going through puberty soon. It's that happens sometimes. And little did I know it would consume my life for the next almost 10 years. So I would say when I was 12 in 8th grade, I was getting the pizza face, my cheeks mainly. It was cystic. And back then I really didn't pay much mind to it, which I'm surprised. I would just, I wasn't insecure about it. I would just cover it with foundation, 2 layers all the time. And I was like, all right, this is good. Let's go to school. Nobody can see it. But now I would never do that. I can't stand to wear any makeup. So that's why I decided I wanted beautiful, clear skin naturally and not having to just rely on makeup. So, but rewind. Back then, my mom took me to the dermatologist because she noticed a problem. We tried an antibiotic pill and this other pill. None of that was Accutane or anything. I've never been on that. I don't remember what the pills were, but there were 2 different ones and they weren't working. We tried tretinoin and we tried this other cream for morning. I don't even remember the name. It wasn't budging. It was very, very just cystic and raging. So the dermatologist finally told me, it's hormonal. You need to go on birth control. Katie's favorite topic.
It is my favorite topic. I'm like, oh my gosh,
You can't say those words out loud, Hannah. We should have preempted. We
get to talk about it today. So just wait, everybody. Keep going, Hannah. I won't interrupt you quite yet.
I hate it. I'll never go back on. So 8 years being on that, and it fixed, quote unquote, my acne about 6 months into it. And after that, I just had like I never had any like boxcar deep pitted scarring, but I just had like the hyperpigmentation. And I had to get 3 rounds of microneedling to get rid of that.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, my skin was beautiful. Like looking at me, you would never tell that I had a past with raging cystic acne. And I didn't really have much major acne breakouts on the pill at all. I would say 2020 was my absolute best skin year. It looked absolutely flawless, no marks, no hyperpigmentation, had this nice rosy glow to it every time I went out in the sun. And I would say that's because I quit my job. I was a junior in high school, no money in my account, no schoolwork. I was just chilling.
No responsibilities, no stressors of life. A good time.
No triggers. My skin was like, oh my gosh, we love this. Like, can it just be like this for the rest of your life?
If we could all just, hang out and sell coconuts on the beach, I think our nervous systems would love it.
Oh, yeah. I don't recommend adulting. Like I give it a 1 star, and that star's like black. It's falling apart. Like just don't do it.
The skin hates adulting. The skin hates
it. Does.
Mm-hmm. My skin went on vacation in 2020, even though I was in a pretty narcissistic relationship. I was even disconnected from that, and I was like, I'm having fun. I don't got to go to school. Like, this is great. My skin loved it. And then I would say the rest of high school, it was fine. It was fine. I didn't even break out when I went back to school after COVID. And then when I got into college, I'm going into my senior year of college right now. When I got into college, the minute that I moved into my dorm, face breaks out the worst it has broken out on birth control. And I don't know if that's because of the environmental change or whatever, but like, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going back to my 12, 13-year-old state. And then I would say all throughout college, it's just been ebbing and flowing, my breakouts, until recently. Mind you, I had been debating getting off the pill for about 2 years before I actually got off of it.
Because it's a big decision, right? So many women are like, I want to get off of it, but I'm afraid of what will happen.
See it all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was reading all the horror stories about post-birth control syndrome. Not only will your skin be horrible, your period's going to come back and like punch your uterus so hard the point you're going to have endometriosis. And I was like, well, this is the healthiest thing for me, but I've got to deal with all this. Like, I don't know. And it just took me so much time, like researching what to do. Before I found y'all, I had my own game plan. Like I was picking out my own supplements that I was going to take, my diet. And I was like, I don't know. I just still feel anxious. I don't think I can trust myself. And I just happened to stumble across y'all's podcast. Like,
oh, yay.
Yeah. I was listening to the podcast before I knew that it was a program. That's when I noticed y'all had like a link in your show notes.
Show notes, yeah.
And amidst researching y'all, I'm just the best at picking out men. Okay.
I think so many people can relate to that. Chris and I are like, yep, understand that.
During that, I was in an abusive relationship recently. So not anything physical, just very verbal, emotional, but still has the same effect.
Absolutely.
So stressed out in that relationship. Thank God I left. But to the point, face, chest, arms, they would turn red, heart rate would be up. And again, I had the 13-year-old acne. Just, beard line on my cheeks, like none really on my forehead. My cheeks have been my main issue. And I was like, okay, I've been debating getting ill and I need to get out of this relationship. So I did. I made a huge life flip. I got out of the relationship happily and I made getting off the pill my main focus in my life. And also had to go to the doctor because I got a really bad period to where this is like right before I got off the pill. I got a really bad period to the point like it was the sharp stinging pain, like in different areas, to the point like if you like this pinching could move in another area. I don't know. It was so weird. So I was like, do I have a cyst? Like, has the pill really given me a cyst? So I went to the doctor and they were like, you need to do an ultrasound. It was just my primary care. You need to do an ultrasound. We can't tell you that right now, but we can tell you that you need to get off the pill. Because that was all my symptoms, like breaking out, this horrible period I got, because my periods have not been bad on the pill. This is like the first really bad one I had on the pill. They were bad pre-pill, like double.
But this was the first one on the pill where you're like, what is happening?
Yeah, to where I thought I had an ovarian cyst. I never got that checked because they said go to an OB to get an ultrasound. All I did was got off the pill. I finished out my pack and got off the pill. That was once I was already in the program. I was about 2 weeks in the program. And since then, it's honestly been an upward slope.
Upward slope. Yep.
My skin right now, I watched it go from that horrible broken out state, and I still look back at my picture. I watched it go from that within the program to very much improving beyond what I ever thought was possible getting off the pill. In fact, I thought no matter what, getting off the pill, it would explode.
And that's the fear, right? That women have is, oh my God, what's going to happen to my face?
That was like my main, like all consuming me. It's all I could think about. But the opposite, on wood, has happened to me. It's not been perfect, but
of course,
I'm very happy with it since being in this program. It's
incredible, right? Is for you, like you've had a long journey. You're 21 now, right? Did you had to have your 21st birthday yet? Oh, happy 21st birthday in the States. Look at you. Congratulations. Officially.
I've not had alcohol though, because I don't want to get,
I know. It's, whenever you turn that 19 in Canada, 21 in the States, it's just you're like officially an adult now because you're allowed to buy alcohol. But even though you're taking your health as a priority. So I love that for you that at 21, you have made such a massive commitment to your health. Like when I was 21, I was partying it up in university, eating all the fast food. Like I was not you. So the fact that you have taken control of this so early in your life, I'm so excited for you because you have set yourself up for success, going into your 30s, into your 40s, when so many of us didn't start taking care of our health until we were much later. So I love that you almost have it's like this generation has a kind of step ahead of the millennials, right? Because they've grown up in this world of green smoothies and healthy things on TikTok and all those things. So I'm so proud of you, Hannah, for making this commitment to yourself at such, a young age, but also making this commitment to, you broke up from an abusive relationship. You decided to come off the birth control. You decided to, join the program and start taking care of your health. That's a massive up level all in a very, very short period of time. It's so impressive. Honestly, like sitting here listening to your story, it's so heartwarming to hear. And I love that for you, you went from having like all of this acne breaking out, which we of course can see there's going to be a nervous system component. If we can, there's the triggers of you going through these traumatic events. We know there's going to be a nervous system component, and you've been with us now for 4 months at the time of recording. And I love that you said it's been an upward slope, because that's exactly what it is you're making progress every single day. It's not always easy and it's not going to be perfect, but it's about progress, not perfection.
Yeah. Oh yeah. My skin's not been perfect, but it is not, I can say I don't have straight up acne, like being in the program. Like right now, another huge win I've noticed right now, like I got my period yesterday and I was like, what? I didn't know it was coming. Like my Flow app told me that I just ovulated the other day.
Love it.
Had no idea it was coming. And I was just like, okay, well, this is great because Flo was saying it would be like 2 weeks from now, and it's right now. So that means my periods are even regulating off of being off the pill.
Mm-hmm.
And as I'm on it right now, like I only have about 4 pimples. Like it's not the straight up acne, which I do still get scared when I see that one. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's going to turn into more. But even that, I've learned how to like just roll with it and control my fear with it. Because I've seen plenty of times in this program that I will get one here and there and it doesn't turn into the beard of acne.
Mm-hmm.
And my period, my first one off of birth control, I got it within 7 weeks. And
wow, that's great.
Right. I've heard so many stories about, well, I've been off of it for 6 months and I've not gotten it back. I've been off of it for a year. I've not gotten it back. I remember a call with Chris. I was like, when am I going to get it back? I was on a call with her freaking out about that. She was telling me to get ovulation strips. And then I would say like 3 weeks later, I got it. And it was pretty much symptomless. All I really have is mild cramping. I don't have fatigue with it.
Mm-hmm.
Very mild skin issues. So really the mild cramping and mild skin issues, all I'm dealing with that.
Like that's incredible.
Right. And it's very normal length too.
And this is the thing is I often have people asking me, well, Katie, how do I know if what I'm doing for my skin is working, right? Because your skin's generally going to be one of the last things to clear up because to your body, your skin's not important. You're like, whoa, no, it's important to me. But your body's like, no. Getting our hormones in check, getting our menstrual cycle, that's important, getting our digestion. These are like survival things that we have to get in check. So I always say the things we want to be looking out for is have your periods improved? Are they easier? Are your symptoms lessening? Is your digestion improving? Less fatigue? Are you sleeping better? Because these are all signs and clues that your body's responding to what you're doing. And this is so clear in your case, Hannah, that, coming off of the birth control pill, and having a really, pretty easy transition to compared to what most people have. And also being able to get your period and not know that you're getting it. Like, I'm sure so many women listening are like, what? What do you mean you didn't know you were getting it? That's possible?
No, I'm serious. Like, I'm dead serious. Yesterday, I was so surprised. I was even in a good mood yesterday. And like most of the time, like even on the pill, when I was about my period, I would just hate the world.
Like, yeah, you're like, everyone sucks. Everybody go away. Leave me alone.
But yesterday I was all like singing in my car, like sunny day. I even wanted to go on a run, Katie.
A run?
Yeah, I didn't because, like.
Now you're speaking my language. I didn't.
What?
The mild cramping kicked in. I was like, I don't want to worsen it. I'm not going to go on a run. But like I did have the energy and the zest to go do that. So
that you're like, let's do it. Let's just live our best life. And when you're 21, like that is awesome to be able to have that for yourself. Mm-hmm. Now, like you've done such a great job of sharing your story in depth. And, now that you're 4 months into the program, we see that we've worked really hard to reduce inflammation. We're working on your gut microbiome right now. But Chris, I would love for you to take a moment. And as we always do in these is let's dig into Hannah's HTMA a little bit and walk through those puzzle pieces that she didn't have before, that, those imbalances that was happening in her body for, probably years.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, as Hannah said, she was doing her own research. So she came in with a pretty hefty list of supplements that she had. And I mean, when you look at the supplements, you're like, hey, this all makes sense, right? And then when you realize, wait a minute, but does it make sense for you?
And Chris, let's just list out some of the supplements that she had been using, because I want people to hear, like, is it similar to what I'm taking? Is it different?
Mhm.
Because I know we have a lot of clients like Hannah who are on it. They're doing their research. They're trying the things. They're doing everything, taking the 15 supplements that the internet recommends for acne, but nothing's working.
And guess
Yeah.
what? I was taking, I was breaking out.
Right, because you came in taking a probiotic.
Katie,
I'm looking.
what's happening here?
Oh, sorry, I got excited. Go ahead, Chris. I'll take a back seat. I'll have a sip.
I take a nap.
I'm gonna sip my matcha, and I'll let you list out the supplements. Okay?
You're so
They were just
funny.
3 hours.
Yep.
No, you know what? I've seen longer. So obviously 90% of the people do come in with a probiotic. So you had a probiotic, a magnesium, a DIM, fish oils, lysine, vitamin C, another hormonal balancing, and one I can't even pronounce, right? One I can't even pronounce. So what does this mean is we always ask clients, why are you taking them? Because we need to appreciate the understanding. We also want to know who's recommended them. Why? Because if you're working with a medical professional, it's not our rule to come in and be like, take that out. Don't do that. Right. So we want to work with all the avenues. However, and I get it. You were taking lysine for immunity, and you were taking vitamin C because, hey, you know what? And fish oils because I've read they're great for the skin. They're great for the skin. Like, I love them. So these things here, they are great. The difference is like you said, the painful cramps, that's not always just estrogen. And what happens is if we start pumping in estrogen supplements and there is an issue, say, with the conversion of how we're using our adrenaline, which could really promote testosterone, we've just exasperated that. Right? And I'm not saying that was in your case. I want everybody to understand is I get your reading and it sounds, because guess what, Hannah? $10. You can let me know. You can send me I'll take the American though. Don't send me the Canadian.
Don't send the Canadian.
Don't send the Canadian.
The exchange is awful.
But I bet $10, you went through a list of symptoms and you're like, yes, I need this supplement. This is exactly what I'm experiencing.
Well, that, and I was also predicting symptoms I was going to get off birth control, which never happened. Like, I was thinking worst case scenario is like my hair is going to fall out. I'm going to grow a beard. My acne is going to be horrible. I'm going to get endometriosis, PCOS. I'm going to be a PCOS person. Like, I was saying what I'm going to have.
The apocalypse was coming for Hannah coming off of the birth control pill.
Yeah. She does, right? Honestly, when we fast forward to those supplements and then we look at the HTMA, we want to say, what the heck's going on? First and foremost, would you say that you are eating the same variety and rotation and quantity that you've been asked to now?
What?
When you came into when you came to the program, were you eating all that variety, that rotation, the nutrients, all the different types of minerals?
I was like eating pretty healthy home cooked meals, but I did not have like anything cut out of my diet like that would be inflammatory. Like, I wasn't really having like milk, but I would have like cheese on stuff. Like, I'd have dairy here and there. If I saw like ice cream, I wouldn't go pass that up. I work at a cafe and I've been there for 3 years, so I'm very much used to all the food that they have. I would be getting the cookies and the cupcakes and the croissants. So also would have Starbucks like regularly with the syrup and all that. So I was eating healthy, but I had the disruptors and the inflammatory all in my diet that I can't even imagine eating right now to like stunt my progress.
Hannah, we might be the same person. I worked as a barista at a local coffee shop, little cafe, and ate all of the treats and the things and the drinks.
I don't
look at us.
Buddy to tell me that I am not disciplined, because right now I do not
have
that stuff and I am exposed to it all the time.
You're staring at those freshly baked muffins on the counter, aren't you?
Gosh, I'm a different kind of strong.
I'm a different kind of strong.
No, but when we're eating, this is a great point, because when we're eating those things, whether it's the croissants and the breads and the Starbucks the thing is we crave it again, right? Because the microbiome and certain little uglies that we have inside us are like, and it makes our brain feel really good in the time too, right? Because that's a huge connector. Outside of that, when we do it though, Hannah, specific to your HTMA, was as interesting is it's not even about ripping things out. We really want you to eat more. So yeah, you're eating and you're eating home cooked and then exposed to other things. The thing is when I look at, say, strontium, calcium, and magnesium, these calcium and sodium, when they go together, they're interesting because they're like, do I have underlying infections? Is there possible like a virus or something going on in there? And I always look at people first and I say, are you eating enough, and especially enough protein? So when we're eating those other foods, what they do is they take the opportunity away to eat a whole food.
Yeah.
And that's the difference. And when when we do it, we don't realize. We're like, well, I ate dinner and breakfast at home, so look at me go, which is fantastic. The other thing is when we leave the house and expose ourselves to that just goes, and it can, it can bind to our nutrients. It can get them and flush them out. And two, we might be feeding the wrong ones, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's just something I want everyone to consider is it's not about ripping it out. It's about altering and structuring whole foods in, because once we add foods in, there's really not that same drive to go and grab the other things. Mind you, I was at a health food store and I was looking for ice cream yesterday. So, because I was like, I want something creamy. Of course, it wasn't dairy and it wasn't gluten. And you know what I mean? Those are my alternative. But I get it, Hannah. Some days I want ice cream, right? Some days I just want I want a
chocolate bar. Yeah, I want a bag of chips.
The thing
That's okay.
What I have been enjoying are the Simple Mills little chocolate chip.
Are they delicious? Those things
are to die for.
To die for.
Like
Katie does like her snackitos.
Anytime I have craving, I mean, of course not right now. Like I'm seriously fasting sweets right now, as you all know, because of my protocol. For anybody listening, but like when I have had sweet cravings, I go to Mills and I feel I don't get a stomach ache or anything, and it's just as good as a regular cookie, in my opinion.
If not better, like those Simple Mills chocolate chip cookies. I think I love Simple Mills as a brand. And you living in the States, Hannah, like you actually have a plethora more options of Simple Mills than we do here in Canada. So I might have to request that you, find some room in your dorm room so I can move in with you and go shopping and get some Simple Mills.
Hey, I would,
because there's like,
that'd be.
I know it would be. I could go back to university or back to college. I would live it up. It would be so great.
That would be the life, honestly.
It would. Chris would be rid of me. It would be going really well.
Yeah, Chris would be shaking us down here in Georgia.
Yeah, she would get all the text messages.
Mental note: turn off your phone.
That's when Chris turns her phone off. But that's it, right, Hannah? Is finding those little the healthy alternatives to your favorite foods, because like you guys have been talking about, it's not about getting rid of these things for life. Of course, if you're working through a therapeutic protocol, that's different. There's a short-term pain for a long-term gain with an end date. But when you start finding this way of eating for your skin, you can find delicious alternatives to cookies. You can find, healthier alternatives to an ice cream and all of these favorite comfort foods. So it's not like you're giving these up for life. Mm-hmm. It's about finding what works for you and your body.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Like I search up alternatives for everything, like even gluten-free, like almond flour, airy starch croissants, or just, off the top of my head, because I still crave that gummy doughiness.
Mm-hmm.
Deprive myself. And I'm like, what can I find out here where I can read the ingredients and I can visibly see that there's nothing inflammatory? Or, I just make stuff. The other day I made chocolate chip cookies with gluten-free flour, arrowroot starch, honey, and monk fruit as the
yum.
And the only thing that was different than regular chocolate chip cookies, they're a little crumbly, but I can work with that.
You can work with that. A little crumble ain't gonna kill nobody, right? You just got to tweak the recipe a bit.
Get a spoon. Get a spoon.
Yeah, they were just as sweet, and it was dark chocolate. So I
yum
satisfied.
That's so good. I love that. And you did mention right now that you're working your way through one of the therapeutic protocols for yourself. Because Chris, going through the HTMA, obviously we got to be reducing the inflammation, which isn't a surprise, having been on the birth control for so long, and being exposed to those more inflammatory foods, working on that digestion, of course, and then now going into the gut microbiome. What were some of those markers that were shown on her interpretive results that indicated, okay, we need to do a little bit of gut work outside of the fact that she's been on the birth control pill and taking antibiotics?
Yeah. So when we look at it's called potentially toxic. It's called bismuth. Bismuth is elevated. So one of the things we dig in is, are you taking Pepto-Bismol? Because it's in there, right? Have you been diagnosed with SIBO? Do you have gas and bloating? There's a lot of detail when one mineral comes up that we start to look for. So with that elevated, we want to look for things like Katie, we're no stranger, H. pylori, right?
No stranger here.
We're no stranger to that sucker. But again,
no stranger.
How that is that's now in the stomach. So that shows us our digestive support, right? If we have stress-like patterns, and Hannah, like you could test to it, like coming in, stress-like patterns, right? Obviously, even just doing life. Like that's all I have to say. Being alive. Being
alive is stressful.
Right? Adulting. Remember that icky star. So these types of things, they start to deplete. So yeah, absolutely digestive. Interesting enough, the zinc and copper was balanced, which says, hey, well, it's a little bit under, but relatively balanced. It says, hey, you know what? These minerals are working together. However, things like boron or elevated copper, again, she is on birth control at this point. So we're not going to be like, oh my gosh, we have to increase the boron and we have to do this. And let's get the foods in. Let's see what the body can do. Let's start supporting this. Because Hannah, you're correct. You know what? Go on a DIM, correct in the sense, go on a DIM because I know I'm on birth control and I know that increases my estrogen. So let me go repress it. Mm-hmm. Right? So the concept is like bang on. But we also have to make sure that we can do things like detoxify. So the great thing is your skin does not congest if we are probably detoxifying, methylating, metabolizing. So you're starting to see the whole concept now as you go through the program, as you're working with coach and, all of these supports in and amongst. So when we look specifically at the HTMA again, it's really, we needed to get the minerals in, but we needed to support the digestion so you could actually do something with the minerals while you're ingesting them.
Well, I will admit that the DIM thing, I saw a TikTok video. I was like, that's going to fix me.
But that's what so many women do, Hannah, is DIM is such a popular herbal supplement to use for hormones. It's in pretty much any hormone balancing supplement you look at, any of the birth control supplements. And it's not to demonize it. Like, we love DIM in the right situation. DIM is one of those things that you have to be very careful of, because if you take it when you don't need it, it can actually make your symptoms worse, especially if you don't have high estrogen, you take DIM, then it's going to push your estrogen down too low. And then we're dealing with low estrogen symptoms. So you don't know what you don't know is essentially what I'm trying to say is, the internet tells you, oh, you need to take X, Y, and Z. So you're like, okay, I'm going to go and buy it, add it to cart, and I'm going to go and take it. But we can see, like, I may have done a few add to carts in my day.
I was just going to say, Katie, you're talking like a true add to cart professional here.
I am an add to cart professional. And that's the thing is, of course, working with a practitioner like us, it's an investment for sure. But when you start to calculate what you are currently spending on supplements, on skincare, on microneedling, those really do add up. And I've shared so many times, Hannah, that when I had my acne in my early 20s, like you, I spent over $10,000 on my face in a 5-year period. Because let's break that down. That's $2,000 a year or $162 a month. How easy is it to spend $162 a month on your face?
It's so nauseating to think about that acne is not cheap.
No, that's a new tagline. Acne is not cheap.
That's a good way to look at it.
If you're just going to the grocery store being like, well, this one looks good. Let me get this one thrown to the cart. For me, and TikTok was my main culprit, all these hormonal balancing influencers telling me this cleared my acne, you need this. And they would literally say, this is like my miracle supplement. Well, did you get testing? Like, how do you know it's your miracle supplement? Like, what if skin is only clear for a time on it? Like, did you actually get tested?
Yes. Because that's a great point to bring up, Hannah, right? Is a lot of women take the hormone balancing supplements and their skin does improve. But then what happens when you come off of it? Because so many times the acne comes back because, again, you're now using a supplement as a Band-Aid. Because you're a great example of this, right? Is, of course, we know your hormones are going to be off. And, so many women in your case can take that hormone balancing supplement, but it's doing nothing to fix their gut. And their gut microbiome is going to be impacting their estrogen. So again, it becomes that Band-Aid where when we come off, our acne comes back, and it's because we never fixed the gut.
The gut's the foundation, essentially.
She knows it. She knows it, Chris.
Stress. I'm big with the stress, right? So stress and the inflammatory, and it doesn't, our body should be able to reclaim, repair, revitalize, restore. It's us as humans that do that detriment to it. And we don't do it because we don't love ourselves. We don't do it because we do it because we just don't know. Right? Like, same reason why we supplement, same reason why, like, I do it too, Hannah. I'm like, because we get early advances of all the new supplements coming out. And I'm like, oh, look at that sexy. Oh, I get so excited. I'm like, I need this. And I'm like, okay, let's see if you need it in 3 days.
Yeah.
Often I forget, but this is probably my best, right? Yeah. Maybe Katie, that's what we're going to do for you. We're going to say, do you need it in 3 days?
I, of course, need it in 3 days, Chris.
I know, but I don't mean do you need it to arrive in 3 days. We're going to say no more add to cart.
What do you mean? Chris, my latest add to cart was Instagram got me, and I ordered a salty, salty face or the tanning water? The self-tanning water?
See?
I did. That was even I succumbed to the Instagram marketing. I was like, I need it.
You know what you need to do?
It's powerful.
If you move down to Georgia, you won't need the salty spray tan.
Exactly. Hannah doesn't need a self-tanner because she lives in Georgia. So I'm going to move to Georgia. That way I can have my nice glow all year long instead of being a Canadian that is indoors most of the time.
My skin loves it too. Like, every time I lay out,
ooh,
like a nice...
You're really selling this Georgia move to me, Hannah.
Katie and I are close.
Oh, look at that.
Oh.
And she has her clear stem.
I'm a professional at this. I use this in the sun, but it's
professional.
When I'm laying out in the sun, it's like, it's not getting burnt because that's a sunscreen, but it's like a box, like a nice, and then I can still see nice tan to my face even when I take that stuff off. And my if I did have a pimple or so, like, it looks kind of evened out afterwards. It's weird. It loves the sun.
And you want to, you're getting that natural vitamin D living down in a southern state. You get that beautiful vitamin D absorption. So like I said, you're really selling me moving to Georgia. We're going to relocate, Chris.
I'm going to Costa Rica, Katie. I've already said.
She's been on the Costa Rica train for a few months now. I get text messages, Katie, we're moving to Costa Rica. Get ready.
Well, why not? Why not? I see.
When you get to Costa Rica, just quit your job. Don't have any money, don't go to school, just don't live, and then you'll have perfect skin.
Then you'll have no stress. Your gut will love you. You just got to give up on adulting and just, like I said, live on the beach all day.
Okay, this is a good point, Hannah. Let me bring this up. Yeah. Okay, so we know that's not realistic. We have to work, we have to live, we have to go to school, right? Sorry, Katie, right? All of these things. So for you, because I get to see different things, right? I get to see the background. You join on coaching calls. You really show up for yourself. So gold star, absolutely right there. And I see it all the time. Now, what I see is a certain transition with a mindset. So can we chat about that for a second?
Yeah.
So when you came in, it's almost like you said, fear was the theme. This is what we're doing. We're hanging with the fear. This is what's going to happen. I'm like generating all this fear because I know it's going to happen because this person on TikTok said so. So outside of that, what mindset applications, what things have you learned? What values have you shifted? Whatever you want to chat and you're comfortable with. But what does the past Hannah, and now fast forward 4 months, this Hannah, what values do you bring that are different?
So I think just seeing the firsthand experience of the reality of how my skin and body are, 4 months ago, March 17th, I think. So yeah. But like, I guess being okay, well, what I was scared of, I'm living in it right now and it's not happening. Like, I'm living in my post pill life, and what I was scared of wasn't happening. Like, what I was zoning out in my classes over in March and just freaking out about, like, it was literally like I wasn't even able to show up in my friendships and like whatever was going on in my life because I was worried about, okay, I'm about to like go down the slope of a roller coaster with my skin and my body because I've been on the pill for 8 years. How the heck will it not freak out? Like, no matter what I do. Like, I was taking just the timeline of how long I've been on it and immediately saying, there's nothing I can do to stop my body from freaking out when I take this away. And I was so like, I was like, there's just nothing I can do. And then now I'm living in the proof that like that didn't happen. Like, sure, I don't have every single symptom gone. Like I just said, I'm sitting here right now and I still have like 3 out of 10 cramping. Like I'm on day 2.
Mm-hmm.
So I have 3 out of 10 cramping. I woke up this morning with like 2 pimples right here, but they're like very much not even that inflamed. So it's not perfect, but I am not living in the absolute apocalypse that I thought I was going to be in. Like, I thought I was going to be 12 years old again, just a hormonal wreck, like almost in puberty again. So just taking a leap of faith and seeing it pay off, especially through my periods, because the period's a huge factor of like how your health is. Seeing them be like way better than I ever thought has really shifted my mindset. And went on a cruise like 3 weeks ago.
Love a cruise.
So I walked on the cruise with like a little bit of a breakout. Like, I don't know, a tiny bit, like workable, doable. And my skin was kind of white, like it was very white. But when I got like at the end of the vacation, I had a new face. Like, everything was cleared up. Even like any post acne mark I had was cleared up because I mean, I like fading cream and stuff. And it just had a nice glow to it. So I'm like, okay, like even if I go on vacation and I'm still eating right and I still have my enzymes, I still have my buffered vitamin C, like, wow, my skin really is impressing me. So really the experience. I didn't have the experience when I was first talking to Chris for a month or so. So that's why I remember asking her, like, what will we do if this happens? What will we do if this doesn't work? She remembers that call. But now it's like I let go because I'm seeing that my skin very much is at bay this long off of birth control.
I love that you've had this type of mindset shift, Hannah, because like both Jenna and Chris have raved like the change in your mindset in the last 4 months has been so incredible. And I think that's one of the most powerful parts of any healing journey is the ability to start recognize our mindset and change it. I heard recently, forgive me if this isn't the exact number, but it was something like 90% of the negative situations are just made up in our brain.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's like, oh my gosh, that person didn't text me back. They're mad at me. Oh my gosh, it's been hours. And then all of a sudden the next day they text you and they're like, oh, so sorry. Like my friend was in the hospital. I had to drive them. I didn't have service. And you're like, oh, okay. There we go.
I'm constant anxiety, y'all, is my main thing. I'm such an anxious person,
And that's what you're starting to learn to rewire, Hannah, right? Is you're rewiring that mindset because one, we're working on your gut microbiome and there's that gut brain connection where an imbalance in our gut is going to be increasing the anxious thoughts that we have and also rewiring the words that you say. So for me, I can completely relate to that because in my 20s, I was very anxious. I dealt with a lot of mental health issues. And now, instead of saying I am an anxious person, I like to say, you know, historically, I was a very anxious person, but now I'm in control and I'm becoming a calmer and calmer person every day. So it's like this like brain switch. And I can see that you're having that already. And the fact that you're like, oh, I came in, it was doomsday, but now I'm starting to catch myself. And I'm like, oh, okay, I am feeling better.
Yeah.
I didn't even have to stress about that. So I love that for you. You're also having an incredible mindset shift alongside your skin.
Yeah, like I'm noticing the experience, seeing my skin, yes, but I'm also noticing like the background bodily ways I'm feeling. Like I came into the program with midday crashes. I don't have midday crashes anymore. In the program, I've probably had 2 days where I get tired in the middle of the day, 2 days. And they have been around when my period is about to start. And it's not even like I have to go take a nap. It's just like, oh, well, yawn here and there, yawn here and there. And then it goes away in an hour.
Mm-hmm.
So nothing detrimental. And then also my digestion, like I have been using the bathroom beautifully every single day, every day. Like even right now on this gut microbial, like I know that some things might happen, but I've not experienced them yet. And I know that if they do happen, that means like we are awakening the dysbiosis.
Mm-hmm.
So
Look at all the things you've learned, Hannah. I am so proud of you. She's saying all the things. You can tell she's been putting in the effort for herself.
it's been my whole life, y'all.
I love it because it's
the
our
word
whole
yet,
life.
Hannah, the word yet. Let's go back. I haven't experienced it yet. Let's take that sentence and remove the yet. What does it sound like? I have not experienced the symptoms because the yet is waiting. It's waiting, right? So there you go. There's an extra little nugget for you if you want to use that and adopt it. I say that to older people because obviously big on words. The word yet tells the mind to be on high alert.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so if I'm coming out of the garage and I walk my dog and he's off leash, he likes to get under there. I don't know what his urgency is, but this boy needs to get under the garage door before it's opening. Mm-hmm. That's the yet. Does that make sense? Like, he can't wait. Like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? He's so excited. And excitement can be eustress or distress. So always watching that word yet, because that little piece of nugget is the difference between whether or not we let somebody either guide us in a misdirect way or we let ourselves guide us in a misdirect way.
Yeah.
Fair?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm glad that you brought up, you know, that it has some ups and downs, and you're shifting your gut microbiome, so you know that it could happen. And you know, for me, I've been doing a lot of like gut microbiome rebalancing, and because I do what I do for a living, I knew that okay, there could be a change in symptoms, that's all right, and there could not be a change in symptoms, also okay. And you know, that way you're not almost telling your brain that to be on high alert, or it is what it is. It's going to play out the way it is, and you're just going to go with the flow, right? You're going to go with the flow, and it's going to be fine whether you experience a shift in your microbiome symptoms or not.
I just, if I ever have any like unpleasant symptoms, I just think back to like, well, these guys are professional. Like, I'm taking these supplements because they've looked at my charts and they're telling me this for a reason. So like, even if the symptoms on the surface are unpleasant, like what's happening inside, I like the symptoms are pointing to like it's making a difference. Because I would be honestly kind of, well, not worried, but I would be kind of like, hello, is anything happening? You know, like smoothly went through this, I'd be like, is anything happening? Because the very first day, like day one of my GM, I already had sweet cravings that were making me very, very irritated at everybody. And that's because I'm a matcha freak like you. And I got
Thanks, Hannah.
Oh, you win some, you lose some.
Thanks, Hannah. I'm gonna just mark my chart.
I just heard freak. That's all I heard.
I was so mad that I reached for my matcha with honey. I was so mad. And I eat a lot of fruit. I have monk fruit. I never have refined sugar. But like the fact that my body was like, this is your first day with like no sweet tasting thing in your mouth. Like I was so mad.
It wasn't you, it was your gut microbiome was trying to say, feed me, feed me.
It already noticed that all I was having was like celery and avocados and chicken. Like it already noticed. It was like, we don't.
Yeah, it's like, feed us. We don't like this.
They get
all
mad.
all of the opportunistic bacteria are like, we need that sugar. But look at, you've already experienced a symptom of your gut microbiome shifting. And, for anyone listening, that's like, oh my gosh, what it's called a healing crisis. So we actually recorded an entire podcast on this earlier in season 2, pretty much one of the first episodes of the year. So yeah. If you haven't listened to the Herx reaction healing crisis yet, go back and listen to that, because I think it's such a vital tool to have alongside any journey, as Hannah will attest to here. So before we finish up, Hannah, I would love to know, like, even though you're only 4 months into your journey, what are some, like, how has it changed your day-to-day life, right? Because from my experience, when I had acne, it really impacted my self-confidence, you wanting to go out. So for you, has this improvement in your health overall impacted your day-to-day life?
So I didn't ever really struggle with like what people thought of me. I struggled with what I thought of myself. Like if I would go out, like at my college with like my face broken out, I'd be like, it's hard to pinpoint what I would feel. I didn't care if people saw it. Like, I don't know. I can't put like it was a self thing. And right now I look at my skin and I'm like, well, it just looks a lot healthier and it has more color to it. Like, even if I'm not wearing this tinted stuff, like it has more, the clear stem, it has more color to it. So I'm like, I feel more confident in myself, just like, I guess, feeling like I can show up better regardless, again, of what people think. That's never been an issue. It's like, I feel like I can perform better in my life because I'm not worried about like, oh, well, I have this under the skin pimple. Like, is it going to go down tonight if I put benzoyl peroxide on it? Like, that's just, that's not a constant thing in my head where it's like worrying about the grossness, I don't know, of my skin. It's just, back in the program, I still struggle with sleep, like not how I'm sleeping, but fighting sleep. That has been my main thing. I will still be up at like 1:30, like, sleep is boring. I don't want to go to sleep.
You're also 21, Hannah. Remember that. You're also 21 in college. That could be why you're fighting sleep, because sleep is boring.
Yeah, I try not to be too hard on myself. If I do go to bed late, I make sure to get 8 to 9 hours.
You're way ahead of me. I got maybe 4 hours a night when I was in university. Maybe 4.
That makes me feel better.
You're a mile ahead of where I was at 21.
I make sure to make up for it with like 9 hours because I'm just a natural night owl. I don't get the zoomies that I got at the beginning of the program at night. Like, I'm not dancing in my kitchen, like, concerningly. But
concerningly, she says.
Because Leanna, like, do you get hyper? I was like, do you have a camera set up in my kitchen at 2 a.m.?
She knows. She does. She definitely does.
Like, I didn't even tell her about that. So she just knew. But like, now it's just like, I just don't want to go to bed. Like, I'm disciplined with what I eat, but I am not disciplined with my bedtime routine.
That's okay. You'll get there. Like I said, it could just be you're 21 in college and that's all it is because you're living your best life right now. So enjoy it while you can, Hannah. Enjoy it while you can, because pretty soon you'll be an extra adult in your 30s and 40s. So Hannah, this was such a great chat. You've been such an open book and you've shared so much with everybody. So I'm so thankful that you came on the podcast today and shared the part of your journey with us so far. And we will definitely share some updates over on Instagram when you've finished up with us as well, because I think it's so fun to hear this and then see your updates in a few months. So Hannah, we've loved it. You've been amazing. Thank you so much for being on today.
I've loved it. I had so much fun.
Yay. All right, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Clear Skin Chronicles. As always, we will see you next week on Wednesday. See you, everyone.
Thanks for hanging out with us this week on the Clear Skin Chronicles. We'll see you next Wednesday with a brand new episode. Remember to subscribe to the show and drop us a review. Sending glowing vibes your way, Katie and Chris.